25 years of Raw culminates to this anniversary special. I think I might use that. Raw 25th anniversary special review. Because it's kind of hard to come up with a name that not everyone is using. So hopefully this sounds good. Look, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this show. There was just too much content. And this is something I gotta say. I'm going to say this before I get started with any of this. I was happy to see a lot of people there. There were people I didn't see that pissed me off, that I wish was there. But here's the thing that upsets me the most. You, WWE, have such a weak roster that the crowd in both the Manhattan Center and the Barclays Center, they were ecstatic to see majority of the people who came back. And they didn't really care that much about the people that were there. There was only a few people they cared about. And that's bad. This is when the product is the weakest. When you look at all the things in the last maybe 15 to 20 years. The last 15 to 20 years, not all 25, maybe 15 to 20 years. You see the people that you haven't seen in a long time that should still be there. That should be still contributing to the product. And they're not. Either because they're too old or they just gotten rid of because of WWE or because of their own problems. It just shows how weak the product is, and it's so sad. One of the things I'm going to talk about, that was from the main roster. That was Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy. Now, I didn't see the ending of it because I lost the stream. I don't know who won it. But why? You're supposed to be trying to build up these two together, and you're willing to just throw them on a match instead of putting them on Royal Rumble. Something special. Now, I know you're going to say, dude, this is special. No, I'm sorry. It's easy to say yes, but it isn't. For the simple reason you should put Matt, the Broken Brilliance, versus the Eater of Worlds on a pay-per-view instead of a special on regular television. It would have been more important, more substantial. And I know a lot of people want to say that's stupid, but I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective, not a short-term. This is a short-term thing, not a long-term thing. You're trying to establish the Broken Brilliance, and he probably did win the match. Or there was some type of DQ. But I'm sure Matt won it. But because of this, it doesn't help him. It doesn't. It's just throwing him away. And it doesn't really help Bray Wyatt no matter what. You know how it is with Bray. Now, the next thing that I did appreciate was the Peep Show. I'm glad to see Christian. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I did like Christian. I'd rather see him and I'm being honest here. I would love to see Christian on Impact Wrestling at Christian Cage, and he is basically a manager for somebody. I would like to see that. He's a good talker. Not the greatest, but he's a good one. And you see this, where even though you got Jason Jordan, who's getting good heat, it just kind of not falls flat, but it's because it's on the Peep Show that it feels something important. It just does. And even though the crowd in the Barclays Center really helped it out, it really feels like, and I'm not taking anything away from Jason Jordan, he's getting good heat. It should be something that should be on a regular Miz TV. It should be something in a regular segment. But here it's the only way he can get over, because everything else is so weak. Mind you, it still was good. And then the Bar, who I do believe that Sheamus and Cesaro is getting somewhere very good. Now, I feel like they got a very good pop. Even though they are heels. Let's be honest, they're heels. And they're supposed to get really a boo. But they're doing pretty good. I really do like them as they are now. Before, I didn't give a damn about them. Now, I really care about them. I care about them more than Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. Who Seth Rollins is an afterthought. Now, if anyone doesn't believe Seth Rollins is an afterthought, look at this segment. He was an afterthought. He didn't matter, even though he did kick Jason Jordan in the face, trying to get the bar. That's just me. Now, I don't have all of the shots, but I do believe I have a shot of Titus Worldwide going up against Slater and Rhino, and the segment with Slater losing all his money I knew there was something going on with Slater. They were giving him time. And guess what we got? We got time. Because of the fight, you got the Dudleys coming out. Dudleys come out. Guess who they fed to the dogs? They fed Heath Slater to dogs because of what he did at, what was it, Raw 1000. And in the end, he gets a wonderful 3D through a table for his trouble. And everyone else gets cheered. You know, it really pisses me off. You know why? Because the Dudleys shouldn't have to leave a couple of years ago due to the fact of non-use. This just shows you how bad the product is. The Dudleys were hot. And what did they do with them? Nothing. This was nothing. As much as so many people were popping for them, it didn't really mean anything. And pretty much, you let Heath Slater go to the dogs. That's just me. Here's a thing that I was thinking about doing a debate of the week on. And that is about Roman Reigns and the accusations of him buying drugs, which is the steroids, from a seller that has already been talked about. He did something because he's already been arrested. I don't have all the information. I have seen some of it. Pretty much he's being accused of getting steroids from this seller, from this drug dealer. Now, flash to this match. Miz versus Roman Reigns. I felt two things. One, if the accusations are true, the WWE is not going to let him keep that IC title. They're going to strip his ass of it, or they're going to make him job. Look what happened. He jobbed. He didn't job like he won, or this is kind of hard to say. I would have rather see The Miz win clean. That's the reason why I botched that. It would have been better for him to win clean instead of winning dirty. Because when it comes down to what Roman did, he doesn't really deserve to have a technicality like getting his face smashed into the ring turnbuckle with, well, the ring ropes, you know, without the padding. And he loses that way. I mean, it would have been better if The Miz just won clean as a face. It would have been better that way. But we got what we got. And I do not believe he's going back to that now. He's done. If the accusations are true or not, the WWE does not feel comfortable with this. They're dropping him from the IC run. And either they're going to let him try to do Royal Rumble if in the next week or so things calm down. If they don't, he's not going anywhere. They're just going to drop him. That's going to be the question. Will they let him go somewhere in the Royal Rumble, or are they going to drop him like a hot potato? That's the question. Now, AJ Styles with Mean Gene Okerlund was nice. Hearing him mess around acting like, well, I'll tell you something, brother. I am the be-all and all of the WWE. And Mean Gene didn't want to have nothing of it. But it was okay. He did what he did. A little homage to Hulk Hogan, who I think should have been there. Unless I missed him, I didn't see him there. He should have been there because he's that important to the product. People want to see him. Since he was not there, the product suffered a bit. Yes, I know what he said years ago, and I'm not justifying what he said. I'm part black. What he said, no matter out of anger or out of drugs, it ain't nice. I don't like it. But if you see him for what he is, he's still an icon that the company needs right now. He could have shown up for this, then be gone. He should have been there. Now, I could be wrong. He did show up. There was a lot of times that the stream kept jumping and I kept losing it. So for about a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, I kept losing the stream. But if he wasn't there, I wouldn't be surprised. And it's wrong. He should be there. Even if people are still not happy about the comment he made maybe 8 or 10 years ago when he was screwed up in the head. Like I said, I'm not justifying what he did. But they needed him. Now, let's go to the women. I think I got a shot of the women. I didn't do anything about the general managers. That was not important. But I did think I got a couple of shots of the women. It was nice to see the people there. It was nice to see Trish there. It was nice to see Michelle McCool. What happened to Layla? I don't think she wanted to be there. And who else wasn't there? Lita wasn't there. I thought Layla would be there. And I thought Lita would be there. And she wasn't there as far as I could tell. And another person that wasn't there Victoria wasn't there. Now, maybe she'll show up in the Female Royal Rumble. And I gotta say this now, I am doing a Female Royal Rumble after this video review. I will be doing it. I'm doing it. So, watch for it. Well, that counts if YouTube did take away the 15-minute limit for me. I mean, well, not take away. If they make me do 15-minute limit, I will find out. I'll have to cut it in half like this video. Just to let you guys know that the changes happen to YouTube. There's a good possibility that my video may be cut in half because the 15-minute limit has been imposed again. Just in case. I don't know. I'll find out. So if you see a part 1 and part 2 of Raw Anniversary, just to let you know, that's what happened. Anyway, it was good to see the women, but I think Lita should have been there. I think Layla should have been there. I really do believe that they should have been there. It's just me. Kelly showed up. Trish Stratus showed up. I was glad to see them. And there were several others. I can't remember who else was the women the most. I think Jillian was there. That was good. And Goldust original, I forgot her name. Maybe I can't remember her name. Oh my goodness. I can't remember her name. You guys will probably see a picture of her if I can find her. The woman with the nicest breasts I've ever saw. In the tightest top. But anyway, it was okay. Now, the thing that I felt a little awkward about was the Undertaker segment in the Manhattan Center. It made sense. He needed to be there. But you guys tell me below. Wouldn't it have been better if the Undertaker was dressed in his original clothes that he first aired on Raw? That would have been awesome. I'm just saying it for myself. If the Undertaker didn't come in the current clothes he's wearing now, that he went in his original clothes that he once wore years ago, I think that would have been awesome. That would have been the most nicest tribute to Raw. Him coming out in his old clothes. His original Undertaker clothes. That would have been awesome. Now here's the thing that got me. The way he was talking felt flat. It didn't feel like the Undertaker. It felt a bit flat. Now I'm not saying what he said was boring. I'm not saying that he didn't seem to try and put some feeling behind it. But I don't know what it was for me personally. It just felt like it was a bit flat. Like there was something missing from him. Mark just didn't feel like the Undertaker. He felt like Mark Undertaker. Mark Calloway and the Undertaker kind of combined a little bit. He wasn't separated. He didn't feel like it was special enough. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. You guys tell me below. Now, the DX segment. I was not too fond of the very beginnings of it with Triple H and Shawn. Just wasn't. Shawn's really showing his age. It would have been better if he shaved. A little bit. Something. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was the personality. It was just something missing from Shawn. Maybe he just looked too grizzled. That might have been the problem. Triple H has always been alright with a beard and mustache. That's Triple H, bald or not. He always felt like Triple H. But Shawn didn't feel like Shawn. I really believe it was just too much grizzle on his face that threw me off. And then you got the Road Dogg and Jesse James. Then you got X-Pac. And the person I was very happy to see was Razor Ramon. That was the person I cared about the most. He was the one I cared about. And it felt good to see him. Then you had the Balor Cup come out. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, are they going to get buried? Are they going to be fed to DX? But then I thought, why would Triple H feed DX the Balor Club when he likes Finn Balor? I was kind of confused. Then guess what? He didn't. Too sweet? You get that. I think I might put an image in front of my face because of that. That was kind of stupid. Anyway, in the end, Balor Club did not get nailed. But someone had to get nailed. I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's something wrong. You called DX out. Someone has to be nailed. And it was the Revival. Let me get this straight. You're willing to bury the Revival for DX. A group that is really old school. Not a group. You see how upset I am. You get the match between Revival and Anderson and Gallows. Anderson and Gallows beat them so quick, like it was a joke, because of the segments are so short. You know it's going to happen. But then, they buried their asses. And then they tried to put over Finn Balor. That I understand. I'm glad Triple H tried to put over Finn Balor. Did it work? I don't know. Let's be honest here. As much as people want to say Finn Balor can truly be the next coming of Daniel Bryan, he's not. I keep saying this. He's not. He's not booked like him. He just isn't. He'll never be a Daniel Bryan. The only person that comes close to Daniel Bryan who can have the star power of a Daniel Bryan is AJ Styles. That's the truth. So Finn Balor is far from getting there. He may need another 5 years before he might even be coming close to some of what Daniel Bryan had accomplished. So I don't care what anybody says. You give me a reason below, but I'm telling you, Finn, even with Triple H behind him, if he's not being booked properly, he'll never get there. And even if he was, he just isn't close. Now, Cena versus Elias in a sense. I know there was no match, but you had John Cena come out interfering with Elias' segments, which I do like Elias. Seeing Cena come out, I would have thought Cena come out in his old clothes. I know that's saying, dude, you don't want to see John Cena as a Dr. Thugonomics. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. In fact, I think it would be better if he came out as Dr. Thugonomics if the rumors are correct between him and The Undertaker. That would have been something interesting. A little throwback to John Cena. Let him become a little bit of a heel like he used to be. Maybe if he doesn't rap anymore, who cares? But I wouldn't mind seeing that. But, what did we get? We get Elias getting over on John Cena. That doesn't really mean much. It feels like it is, and it was important that people cared about it, but it doesn't really feel like it's much, particularly as going for the Royal Rumble. I don't know, it just didn't feel right. Now, let's see if there's anything else. The ending of the show. Now, I'm not going to talk about the women's six-woman tag. I just didn't care. Didn't care. Saying it now, I didn't care. But I will be talking about the Women's Royal Rumble after this, so watch for it. But the ending of the show, and I can tell you this, seeing that Kurt Angle was leading out a lot of the legends, seeing the Brooklyn Brawler was great, seeing Teddy Long was great, seeing the Coach was great, seeing Brother Love, I love you. I had to do it, I'm sorry, I had to, I'm sorry. I had to. Excuse me. It was wonderful to see them. Seeing that he brought some of them out with him and bring out the roster to try and control Brock Lesnar, Kane, and Braun Strowman was somewhat understandable, but there wasn't a contract signing. They just were allowed to meet one another. And that was kind of a mistake. No, it wasn't kind of a mistake. It was a mistake. Why? Why would you let them meet unless it was a contract signing? I think it would have been better as a contract signing. Yeah, I know it would have been a week away, and it's not something that has been done before, but I think it would have been better as a contract signing than just those three meeting in the ring, Kane get knocked out. Well, I'm not saying that Brock Lesnar actually got a little bit hurt because of how Braun Strowman knocked him out of the ring, but it kind of looked a little messed up. He kind of got a little hurt, I think. And then the running power slam into the table, and then Braun Strowman go, "Roar!" I understand it, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't. It just didn't feel like it was important. And that's what this kind of felt to me in this show. The main roster did not feel important. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, dude, of course they're not supposed to be important. This was supposed to be about Raw 25 years of Raw, the legends. Yes. But also about the current roster. And you guys tell me below. Did the current roster feel like they were emphasized as well? Nope. This was about the entire past. And the main roster felt like a joke. It felt like this was supposed to be the norm. And the rest of Raw for last year and the year before that is an exception. People want to feel like there's something special. And Raw has not been special a lot lately. Yes, there's been some progression in stories. Yes, there's been a lot of suspense in certain ways. Yes, Braun Strowman pulled down a scaffold on nobody, but it looked like he pulled on something. They're trying to make up for not having those people that they showed here at Raw. And I gotta be honest, trying to just show the people that people still love, that are probably still young enough, and if they're not hurt, they should be working for WWE, and it should be written for properly. It just hurts seeing this. Not because I hate the current roster. It's because the roster has bad writing, and they're presented badly, and they're written badly. And seeing this, it's like what Raw should be. Not what it's supposed to be special. It's supposed to be the norm. Even DX, feeling a little awkward. A real good faction should be like DX. Something interesting, something surprising, like New Day. And they're doing nothing with New Day. They don't write them very well. But they're still over because they did a great job. You should be doing something more. You should be having something more. You should be giving something more. And this just felt bad. When you see the opening of the show, let's be honest, the opening of the show with Vince, people went nuts for Vince. You can see how Vince has gotten, showing his age. And he still did a Stone Cold Steve Austin segment, took a stunner with his son, and people loved it. And it's not just because it's Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's because there should be people like a Vince. There should be people, may not be at the same strength as Vince or Stone Cold, but something like them. They should be written properly enough to do this. Who's like similar to a Vince? Who's similar to a Stone Cold? Who is similar? Tell me. Who's similar to when it comes to DX? Something interesting. The only thing we have was the Shield, and guess what? The Shield has not been the Shield since 2013. Well, 14 if you're going to talk about the breakup. But 13. That's what we should be having. And that's what we don't have. And this show just reminded me of that. It was still a good show. I did love it. But it just reminds me how bad things are. I hope you enjoyed this review. Watch for my Women's Royal Rumble review. Prediction. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.